All right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called The Gardener of God 2010. I'm giving this one 5 out of 5 stars. I love this flick. Great flick from form.org. Like most things, it's a mixed bag. You have to pick the hidden gems from the total crap on this website. Form.org. It's this one is excellent. It's got the great Christopher Lambert, who was in Fortress, one of my top 20 movies of all time, Fortress. And of course, directed by Stuart Gordon. And if I had the money to get my hands on the movie poster, I'd have it right over here. Sorry. I'm all discombobulated with the camera looking at myself like a person full of pride, even though I'm not gay. The Gardener of God, this film, uses creative license in telling the story of Father Gregor Mendel. Some scenes may not be suitable for all audiences. Parental guidance is suggested. I didn't see any nudity or blasphemy in this, but there are scenes of a brothel and some former brothel owner trying to tempt a priest with her immodest dress. Gregor Mendel is amazing. This film tells the inspiring story of Gregor Mendel, 1822 to 1884, who is considered the father of modern genetics, a science that changed the world. He was a Catholic priest, an Augustinian monk who lived in the 19th century in the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and he was a tax protester. He was the Howard Jarvis of his time. Speaking up against the crooked politician. That was a great scene right there. Christopher Lambert as the humble priest speaking up for taxpayers' rights. Starring Christopher Lambert as Mendel, the movie reveals how he combined his vocation as a priest and training as a scientist and a tax protester to impact the world by courageously following his passion for the truth from the beginning. He realized that his great scientific discovery could be used in a wrong way, and he sought the help of a benefactor and friend, the Princess Hanna van Limburg, a remarkable woman who supported him in his work and vocation, and she helped spread the knowledge of his discovery around the world with her great idea of holding conferences in Vienna and Rome rather than trying to seek attention from the newspapers. Mendel was a man of contemplation and of action, a dedicated priest and visionary scientist who is an important witness for contemporary society on how faith and science are not in conflict with each other, unless we're talking about evolution, of course. If you can call evolution science, even. Mendel also struggled to change the fiscal policy applied to the monasteries in his country, and he even asked for the Pope's help on this issue. He's a fiscal conservative. Father Mendel, among his many talents. Unbelievable. And 1 month after he died, the Austro-Hungarian Empire completely eliminated the tax on monasteries. Amazing. What a remarkable and courageous man. I can't say enough good enough things about Father Mendel. Unbelievable. The film tells how he was invited by Pope Pius IX to the Vatican, where they shared their views about the relationship of faith and science. I'm presuming we're not talking about evolution. This was before the post-conciliar heresies were spread around the world and around the Catholic schools in California. The Pope recognizes the important scientific contribution of Father Mendel, and he speaks the prophetic words to him. Father Mendel, your discovery will survive you, and it will survive all of us. Wow. We love Christopher Lambert on this channel. What an amazing performance. And people complain that they don't talk enough about Father Mendel's genetic discovery. But he was such a complex individual that he's not just a single-faceted individual, let's say. So I thought it was well balanced, actually. I wouldn't criticize it that much. I love this flick. There's nothing bad about it, really. And it's got Christopher Lambert. How could you go wrong with that? The Gardener of God is a 2011 Italian drama film written and directed by Liana Marabini about the life and works of Gregor Mendel, a Catholic priest who lived in the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The main role is played by the great Christopher Lambert. The film shows the life and works of Gregor Mendel, the father of modern genetics, from the perspective of a scientific monk, a man of prayer, faith, and science. The decor is the 19th century Austro-Hungarian Empire, when women dressed like women and men dressed like men. We see Mendel's fight to change the fiscal policies applied to the monasteries of his country, as well as his struggles to change people's mind regarding his great discovery. I want to be like Father Mendel, but it's too late for me. So I just review movies on YouTube and try to save up money for my son so that he can become a priest, or at least raise a Catholic family. Whatever God tells him to do, I'm cool with it. But I will drive him to the Nebraska seminary just to see. At one point, he wanted to study canon law, just like the Benedict character in this movie, another great kid who entered the seminary at age 10. Man, this must have been a great time to live. The Austro-Hungarian Empire of the late 19th century. You've got tax protesters, scientific discoveries, and kids entering the monastery at age 10. Mendel will ask himself if it is possible to reconcile faith and science. We already addressed that. Evolution is not science, so it shouldn't be included in that basket. And if his discovery will be useful for humanity or dangerous. Well, it depends on what genetics are being used for. I guess now it's being used to make genetically modified food. Um, a lot of times it's an excuse for people's behavior, bad behavior, which doesn't make sense to me. And some people even think that homosexuals and sexual deviants are born that way. So it's sort of a double-edged sword. I suppose it has its benefit. A lot of people think that GMO foods are controversial. They say it's Frankenfood, but I don't really see any danger in it unless they're putting human body parts in our food, which is probably been known to happen on occasion. But I'm not an extreme conspiracy theorist on the GMO stuff. And I really don't know why people buy organic, because the GMO foods can cross contaminate through the wind, and it doesn't make sense to me. But maybe somebody can explain the GMO versus organic controversy. Mendel himself was concerned that it could be used for eugenics purposes. I guess today we would see that in the I'm not allowed to talk about that. I don't want to get my video banned again, so never mind. In that sense, his benefactor and friend, the Princess Hannah von Limburg, will be of great help. Mendel finally publishes his conclusions, and he goes to the Vatican to meet the Pope, who welcomes his works. What a great film. What an inspiration to everybody. Father Mendel is awesome. This was produced by Condor Pictures, distributed by Alberto Bittielli International Films, release date July 11th, 2011, running time 110 minutes, country Italy, and language Italian. Really? Is Wikipedia accurate here when it says language Italian? When I was listening, I heard English, and it didn't sound like English dubbing. I didn't even know Lambert could speak Italian, or Italian, as we say on this channel. All right, here we go. The Gardener of God, 1 hour, 50 minutes. Gets an okay 5.3 out of 10, sort of mediocre rating, because of the reasons I mentioned. The people who are looking to watch this are scientific in nature, and they don't understand Catholic faith. So it's a little too much for them. But I'm sure Father Sony, who told us that evolution is compatible with Catholicism, would enjoy this one. He was a visiting priest a couple times to Start of the Sea in San Francisco. 5.3 out of 10, only 36 ratings. The reason why we like form.org is because they have super obscure movies of less than 50 ratings. Even though Christopher Lambert is a great actor, this movie is by no means popular, simply by virtue of it being Catholic. In its themes, and man, what a great film. I think every Catholic should watch this. That's why I emailed the links to 3 priests and a bunch of parishioners, 2 altar servers, no, 3 altar servers. We like to spread this kind of stuff far and wide. Unfortunately, IMDb is not cooperating with me, so we'll just scroll down, 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 down. Here's the review that I was telling you about. Damn, Tekken gives it a 1 out of 10, an opposite, polar opposite rating. And the title of the review is A Sad Waste of Film. Okay, here we go with the expanded summary. Gregor Mendel, 1822 to 1884, is the father of the modern genetics. He was a Czech Catholic priest who lived in the 19th century. The film describes his struggle to change the fiscal policy applied to the monasteries in his country, his desire to make people understand his huge discovery, his beautiful spiritual friendship with Princess Hannah von Limburg. He was a man of contemplation and of action, a good priest. He is handsome, charitable, and dedicated to God. Erica would like to seduce him, but Hannah is there, a good friend for both of them. She helps Erica to become a spiritual woman and to cover up her cleavage, I might add. And she shows Mendel how to spread the knowledge of his discovery all over the world. A brilliant woman, a brilliant priest, and a former brothel owner who becomes who becomes completely converted over to Catholicism thanks to both of them. And they have the patience of well, it's just amazing all around. They have patience with her, and she finally converts. Amazing. I wish I had that much patience. I wish I could convert pagans around here over to Catholicism. I keep inviting them over to church. More like this Day of Wrath, the piano player, Gideon, and Metamorphosis. Some more Christopher Lambert films. Christopher Lambert should get an Oscar for this movie, but of course, it's been relegated to the trash heap of history by the mere fact that it's Catholic in nature. I owe Father Konopik a great debt of gratitude because amongst all the garbage on form.org, I'm finding the occasional hidden gem, and it's just makes me cry in an act of joy when I see this. What an incredible film. I can't say enough good things about this. Christopher Lambert reminds me why he was so good in Fortress. Gregor Mendel was among the first to use math to explain biological phenomenon. He was the first to think and explain the theory of inheritance of character through genes, but his marvelous work remained unrecognized for almost 30 years of its discovery, despite all the conferences that he went to in Vienna and Rome. It looked like he had a very small, enthusiastic audience that he was speaking to. Release date August 16, 2011, in the UK, country of origin, Italy. There's an official website, link on IMDb if you want to check it out. The language is English, also known as El Jardinero de Dios. Production company Condor Pictures. Runtime 1 hour 50 minutes, 110 minutes. And this is in color. Let's go up. And let's see. here we go. Here's the bad review. The IMDb page is not being wonky today, thanks God. All right, here's the opposite view from what's this person's name? Dank Tacoon, dated February 27, 2014. It says, a sad waste of film. A 1 out of 10. The worst movie ever made, at least the worst biography ever made. One would assume by watching a Gregor Mendel biography movie, you would learn about his life, works, and spirituality of Gregor Mendel. But alas, the writer of this movie thought otherwise. Instead of background for the title subject, the movie focuses on the lives of characters in the mid-19th century Austria. I guess he means Hungarian Empire, Austria-Hungarian Empire, who have little to no connection with Mendel at all. I don't know what they mean by that. Mendel's giving spiritual direction, and he's also helping the kid become a better priest. Father Mendel being reduced to a background character with some pseudoscience talk to explain his life's work in founding genetic research halfway through the film. And all the viewer will know about Mendel is that he was a priest who spent a lot of time with pea pods. The lives of the other characters take the focal point, but even there, we know of no reason for them being there, absolutely no character development or any sign of a plot in sight. This is a legitimate criticism, actually, because the editing in the beginning is super confusing. You just see all these characters being sliced and diced together, but you don't know how they relate to each other until about halfway through the film. Truly a terrible movie and a waste of opportunity to make a film about a great pastor scientist. Well, it's true there's no plot because there's no bad guy in this movie per se, except for maybe the tax collectors. But that was kind of a subplot, I guess. So not entirely true. We did find out how the characters are related to Father Mendel about midpoint in the movie. Things started to come together. It was a slow build-up, granted, but it was worth the wait. And we saw a little bit of a plot with Father Mendel being somewhat of a Howard Jarvis tax resistor. Not quite Irwin Schiff. I mean, he paid his taxes reluctantly, and unfortunately, they didn't repeal the taxes until a month after he died. But still, a great warrior for freedom, this Father Mendel. We like tax protesters, tax resistors on this channel. My friend from Santa Rosa hates Wesley Snipes because he bought into the Irwin Schiff jive that you don't even have to file taxes because taxes are voluntary. He found out the hard way. That's not true. Wesley Snipes. And my friend from Santa Rosa hates Wesley Snipes because he doesn't worship the cult of the omnipotent state. He actually goes the Irwin Schiff route of not even bothering to file. Now that's an extreme. Tax protesters, you're sure to end up in jail, plus fines and interest if you try that route. I've never been that extreme when it comes to fighting taxes. But I would move to Wisconsin just to avoid millions of dollars in taxes in California here. I think more people are doing that. They're moving to more tax-friendly states, which is one of the benefits of living in the United States. If you don't like the tax policy of one state, you can always move. But Howard Jarvis was more of a looking out for the senior living on fixed income who can't afford property taxes that keep going up every year. I think he was fighting for them, not the person who's looking to move out of state when they retire necessarily. I think he was fighting for people who are already retired. So cool flick, highly recommended. Check it out, even if you're not Catholic. Just look at what a wonderful scientist this man was. Even if it is pseudoscience babble that he's talking about in his conference or his conversation with another priest, still a great flick. I think these are minor objections and they're overstated. And I think the reviewer, Danktikin, is using hyperbole here. So, anyways, highly recommended. Check it out. Going down my list, let's see what's coming down the pike. Bad Blood, aka Viper, 1994 is the top of my list. I'll try to get to that Friday night. Then we've got East Side Kids, 1940, followed by House by the River, 1950. So that's what's coming down the pike. I Spit on Your Grave is now up to 15. We're talking about the remake. And yeah, we'll keep whittling away. I told the Chinese redeveloper to scram and to talk to my lawyer. He wants to pay a month's worth of rent at some overpriced in-law unit here in Outer Sunset, and I can't just take him at his word. I have to have something in writing, like a legal document that he's going to actually help me. And besides, 1 month is not enough. I need a roof over my head for at least 2 months, because I'm looking at the possibility of being homeless for 2 to 3 months while I whittle down my savings account, max out my 401k, prepay a lot of bills, max out my son's life insurance. You know, I'm not expecting a big chunk of money until possibly November. And even then, it's only like 25 grand. So, yeah. The plot thickens. It looks like I'm going to end up in the poorhouse with a bunch of illegal aliens and assorted crazy people. Either that or I'll be sleeping in my car in the church parking lot, trying to think of a good excuse for Knights of Columbus. So those are my two options right now. I left 3 voicemails with the Trump fanatic from Legion of Mary, and she's not even returning my calls. The other guy from Knights of Columbus, Peter Chan, I have his phone number, but it's a disconnected landline. He doesn't even use it anymore. And I didn't see him. Stuck here at wit's end trying to find a place to live. But I do have 2 months left, and I don't have to worry about that annoying Chinese redeveloper. I call him Cuckoo Chew. because his last name is Chu, so I call him Cuckoo Chu. And so I don't have to deal with him. But I am sort of in a jam, and it seems like the only options are like living like an illegal immigrant, a crazy person, or a homeless person. Those are my. At least I get to surround myself with interesting characters. Maybe I can convert them with a rosary or a scapular or a miraculous medal. It might be a blessing in disguise if I go to the poorhouse. I can start converting people and evangelizing. Cool. Oh, ticket. How do I pronounce your name? Somebody's in the chat room. Oh, sorry. Let me spin around and get the White Warrior poster in. Tid Bekitted says hi. Oh, okay. Tid Bekitted is my top fan. That's good. Thanks for being in the chat room and listening to my tirade on taxes, GMO foods, and or I should say organic foods, and what else? Movie critics on IMDb. That's the end of my review. Laters.